Hello year 11s, this is Katish here. In this video, I'm going to go through the 2018 Biology Paper 1 Higher Tier Question 3, which is on the topic on cell biology. The circulatory system is composed of the blood vessels and the heart. Urea is transported in the blood plasma. Name two other substances transported in the blood plasma. Now, there's a lot of things that can be mentioned here. Main ones apart from urea is oxygen and carbon dioxide, but there's also glucose, amino acids, lactic acids, minerals, salts, all kinds of things that you can actually write. So I wouldn't actually write glucose because it's usually it's combined with the hemoglobin in red blood cells. It's not in the plasma. So mentioning oxygen is not going to give you a mark. Carbon dioxide, yes, it's dissolved with the plasma. Plasma is mainly water, so you could mention water as well. Some athletes train at high altitude. Training at high altitude increases the number of red blood cells per centimeter cube of blood. Explain why having more red blood cells per centimeter cube of blood is an advantage to an athlete. Now, if you have more red blood cells, that means you eventually increase the amount of hemoglobin protein in your body overall. Now, hemoglobin is a protein in which oxygen combines to form oxyhemoglobin, which that happens in the lungs, and it's carried around the body to deliver the oxygen. So you're actually increasing the amount of hemoglobin by increasing the amount of red blood cells. If you have more oxygen, that means there is more oxygen available for aerobic respiration, which you need to produce energy, especially in athletes. That means that you're not going to wind up going into an oxygen depth really soon. So you have more energy released in muscle cells. Here's a typical answer. Athletes with more red blood cells means more hemoglobin, therefore more oxygen can be carried or transported for a more aerobic respiration. You have to mention that it is carrying more oxygen and link it to aerobic respiration and why you need it, which is to release energy for muscle cells. Which two blood vessels carry deoxygenated blood? Now, deoxygenated blood is carried in the pulmonary artery. Now, that's the only artery that actually carries deoxygenated blood. Arteries generally carry oxygenated blood, but the pulmonary artery, which is found in the heart, carries deoxygenated blood to the lungs. The vena cava also carries deoxygenated blood to heart. So let's make a note of it. To heart, to the lungs. Figure 4 shows the three types of blood vessels. So you've got A, B, and C. So figure 4 is showing three types of blood vessels. So as you can see, A is got a thick wall, right? That's the wall of the blood vessel. And B has a thinner wall than compared to A. C, this, what you are seeing here is the nucleus, which means C is a capillary because it's only one cell thick. So question, which type of blood vessel carries blood to the right atrium? Now, to the right atrium, let's see if, there you go. In the next part, you actually have an image in question 3.6. You actually have the structure of the heart. This is the right atrium. Oh, that's the left one. Mistake. Let me get rid of that. This is actually the left atrium. So left F. That's the left ventricle. That makes this the right atrium and the right ventricle. So you've got the vena cava, and you could label the rest of the heart structure as revision. For our question, we just need to know where the right atrium is, which is on this side. So what type of blood vessel carries blood to the right atrium? That should be the vena cava, which is actually a type of vein. So that is B, right? So A is actually an artery, B is a vein, and C is a capillary. Right? Now, how do I know this is an artery? Arteries generally have a small lumen. The opening is the lumen, larger lumen. Right? And how do I know if this is the capillary? They are one cell thick walls or wall. Compare the structure of an artery with the structure of a vein for 3 marks. So if you look at the artery, it has thick muscular walls, whereas in a vein it has thin muscular walls, which you're actually seeing. And something that you're not seeing is actually veins will have valves, which arteries don't. Right? The reason that veins have valves is to prevent blood from flowing back. So the answer for the 3-mark question, to get the 3 marks, here's a typical answer. Oops, sorry. To do that. Oh. There you are. Arteries have a thicker layer of muscle tissue, or veins have a thinner layer of muscle tissue. You don't have to mention both of them, just one of them will do. Arteries have a thicker layer of elastic tissue, right? So there's 2 types of muscles, muscle tissue and elastic tissue. And veins have a thinner layer of elastic tissue. Arteries have a narrow lumen, or veins have a wider lumen. And the 4th point, arteries do not have valves, while veins do have valves. Heart rate is controlled by a group of cells. This group of cells act as a pacemaker. Figure 5 shows a section through the heart. Draw an X on figure 5 to show the position of the pacemaker. Now, the pacemaker is, as it says, is a group of cells. So these group of cells are actually found in this part of the heart, which is the right atrium. So anywhere that you draw an X here is going to be correct. The marking scheme says basically, as long as you find it in the anywhere marked on the right atrium, you should get a mark. And the way it happens is the cells initiate the contraction of the muscle cells. So the heart actually starts squeezing from the top, right? So it originates here and spreads to the left atrium, and they both contract together, and then it passes through the middle part. That impulse passes through the middle part and then travels through the side along this direction, which means that the heart actually squeezes the blood from the top to the ventricles, and then from the bottom upwards, so that the blood actually moves out of the heart. A patient may be fitted with an artificial pacemaker. What condition may be treated using an artificial pacemaker? Now, what is the purpose of a pacemaker? pacemaker is about the size of a 2-pound coin, and it's about the thickness of slightly thicker than the 2-pound coin. It actually has a battery, and it just releases a small current at a given steady pace, right? So that the heart actually starts contracting because of the small electrical current, right? So the reason that you would get a pacemaker is when you have an irregular heartbeat. Hold on. When you have an irregular heartbeat. That brings us to the end of question number 3, and I will see you in question number 4.